Hello and welcome to our channel. Today, we are delving into a story that has captivated the world for a century. What killed people who opened King Tut's tomb? Was it a pharaoh's curse, or is there a more scientific explanation? We'll uncover the truth behind the headlines and separate fact from fiction. If you're fascinated by ancient mysteries and historical enigmas, you won't want to miss this. Make sure you watch until the end, because the real story is even more intriguing than the legend. November 4, 1922. After years of relentless searching in Egypt's Valley of the Kings, British archaeologist Howard Carter and his team made the discovery of a lifetime. A hidden staircase led to a sealed door, bearing the royal seals of a little-known pharaoh, Tutankhamun. Behind that door lay a treasure trove untouched for over 3,000 years. The world was spellbound. But as the news of golden shrines, jeweled artifacts, and the magnificent sarcophagus spread, a darker narrative began to emerge. A story of a deadly curse unleashed upon those who dared to disturb the boy king's eternal rest. The first domino to fall was Lord Carnarvon, the wealthy patron who funded Carter's expedition. Just a few months after the tomb was opened, in April 1923, Carnarvon died suddenly in Cairo. The cause was an infected mosquito bite, which he had accidentally cut while shaving. The infection led to blood poisoning and pneumonia. The timing was uncanny. On the night of his death, a massive power outage plunged Cairo into darkness. Miles away in England, his favorite dog, Susie, reportedly howled and died at the same moment. The press seized upon these coincidences. Newspapers, eager for a sensational story, connected the dots and screamed, "The Pharaoh's curse." The legend was born. Soon, any death remotely connected to the excavation was attributed to the curse. George J. Gould, a wealthy American visitor to the tomb, died of a fever a few months later. Radiologist Archibald Douglas Reed, who X-rayed the mummy, died from a mysterious illness. Carter's personal secretary, Richard Bethel, was found dead in his bed. His father, Lord Westbury, distraught by his son's death, jumped from his 7th-floor apartment. The list seemed to grow longer with each passing year, fueling public fascination and fear. Novelist Marie Corelli famously warned that the most dire punishment follows any rash intruder into a sealed tomb. It seemed her warning was coming true. But let's pause and look at this with a critical eye, just as a scientist would. Is there any statistical evidence for a curse? A study published in the British Medical Journal decades later examined this very question. Researchers tracked the survival of 44 Westerners identified by Howard Carter as being present in Egypt when the tomb was opened. They compared their lifespans to a control group of people of similar age and background. The result? There was no statistically significant difference in their age of death. The 25 people who were actually present at the opening of the tomb lived to an average age of 70. This was not unusually short for that era. Howard Carter himself, the man who first breached the seal, lived for another 17 years, dying at the age of 64 from Hodgkin's lymphoma, a disease with no connection to any ancient curse. The woman who was arguably the first to enter the burial chamber after Carter, Lady Evelyn Herbert, daughter of Lord Carnarvon, lived until 1980, dying at the age of 78. If there was a curse, it was remarkably selective and inefficient. So, if not a curse, what could explain the deaths, especially Lord Carnarvon's? Let's go back to that mosquito bite. The early 20th century was a different world medically. Antibiotics were not yet widely available. An infection that we would treat easily today could be a death sentence back then. Erysipelas, a severe bacterial skin infection, combined with pneumonia, was the official cause of Carnarvon's death. This is a plausible, if tragic, medical explanation. The power cut in Cairo, a common occurrence in the city at the time, his dog's death, a sad coincidence but hardly supernatural proof. The media, however, found the curse narrative far more compelling than the mundane reality of medical science. But what about the tomb itself? Could it have harbored something dangerous? This is where science offers some fascinating possibilities. Ancient tombs are sealed environments, and for thousands of years, they can become breeding grounds for various pathogens. One theory suggests that dangerous mold spores like Aspergillus niger or Aspergillus flavus could have been present. These fungi can lie dormant for millennia and, when disturbed, become airborne. Inhaling these spores can cause severe respiratory infections, especially in individuals with weakened immune systems. Some of the reported symptoms, like fever and breathing difficulties, are consistent with aspergillosis, the disease caused by this mold. It's plausible that Lord Carnarvon, already in a weakened state, could have been susceptible to such an infection after spending time in the dusty, enclosed tomb. Another scientific theory points to bacteria. The process of mummification involved preserving organic materials, the body, but also offerings of food, flowers, and fabrics. Over 33 centuries, these could have supported the growth of pathogenic bacteria. When the tomb was opened, these dormant microbes could have been released. Modern studies of Egyptian mummies have indeed found ancient bacteria and fungi, proving that these microorganisms can survive for astonishing lengths of time. Some might even be ancient strains of diseases for which people in the 1920s would have had no immunity. This idea, often called the dormant pathogen theory, provides a rational biological basis for the supposed curse. There is also the possibility of chemical hazards. The ancient Egyptians were master chemists. They used a variety of substances for preservation and in their elaborate funerary rituals. The air sealed inside a tomb for thousands of years could have contained toxic gases like ammonia, hydrogen sulfide, and formaldehyde, produced by the decomposition of organic matter and the breakdown of the materials used in the burial. While a brief exposure might not be fatal, prolonged work inside the unventilated tomb could certainly have had adverse health effects, contributing to illnesses that might have been misinterpreted. It's a toxic cocktail of natural and man-made hazards. So we have a series of unfortunate but explainable deaths, sensationalized by the press. We have plausible scientific theories involving molds, bacteria, and toxic gases. But the most powerful factor of all might be psychological, the power of suggestion. When people believe in a curse, they start looking for evidence to support it. Every illness, every accident, every misfortune becomes proof. This is a classic case of confirmation bias. The public was primed by stories of ancient magic and angry pharaohs. The narrative was simply too good to let go of, even in the face of scientific logic. The curse became a self-fulfilling prophecy, not through supernatural means, but through human psychology and the media's hunger for a dramatic tale. The story of Tutankhamun's curse is a perfect example of where history, media, and science collide. The deaths were real, but their cause was almost certainly not a magical hex. Instead, it was a combination of 1,920 seconds medical limitations, potential biological and chemical hazards within the tomb, and a global media frenzy that preferred myth over medicine. The real killer wasn't the spirit of a long-dead king, but a collection of much more earthly culprits: bacteria, fungi, and our own fascination with a good story. The legend of the curse has outlived almost everyone who was there at the opening, proving that a powerful story can be the most enduring artifact of all. Thank you for joining us on this investigation into one of history's most famous mysteries. We hope we have shed some light on what really killed the people who opened King Tut's tomb. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the past, please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. Don't forget to hit the notification bell so you never miss a new video. And share this with anyone who loves a good historical mystery. We'd love to hear from you in the comments below. What did you find most surprising? And what historical topic should we explore next? I am Venant. Thanks for watching.